Hey guys, it's me, surprise. So, this is a game. Huh. So, I figured that I want to actually give you some content to watch while I'm waiting for my computer to come in. So, I got this game on Steam. It was like $2. It's called Choice of the Deathless. Choice of the Deathless. It's by Max Gladstone. It is a text-based game, much like another one that is currently very popular that I will not mention for various reasons. Alright, so I actually have played this through once earlier today because I was really bored and I was driving back to college from home, or from, you know what I mean. And so I played it, and it's actually really, really fun. So I figured I might as well play it. It's separated into chapters, so I guess I'll just tackle chapter 1. Shouldn't take too long. Anyway, I'll go ahead and get to it. I guess I'll just narrate it for you guys. My voice is pretty damn sexy, if I do say so myself. Anyway, Choice of the Deathless. Choice of the Deathless by Max Gladstone. The sky over the demon world is broken. Lights lick the strange geometries of clouds. Around you arises the demon city Akragath? Warped crystal and flame, thorns and razor wire, and this is the nice part of town. Gods, you hurt. Your skin is a burned ruin. Bones in your ribs grind when you breathe. Your suit hangs in tatters from your body. Your enemy stands before you, a towering figure of glass and knives. Cackling madly, he raises one hand. Dark power crackles along his talons. The battle's taken almost all your strength. Your craft, your powers stand at ebb. If you don't win this soon, you're done. So, I'll give context after this kind of prologue. So I'm going to go ahead and I wait for my enemy to attack and to redirect his power against him. As the blast scythes towards you, you bind it with your own craft and cast it back against your foe. To catch such power in mid-flight is almost impossible, but you manage, by a virtuous display of finesse and improvisation. If you survive this, you'll return to the hidden schools and rub this moment in the face of every professor who ever claimed you don't amount to anything. If. The bolt shatters your enemy's chest into crystal shards. They fall like rain, reflecting your battered face 1,000,000 times in miniature. But before your very eyes, the crystal melts again and flows back to heal the wound you made. He stands before you as mighty as before. The effort's almost exhausted you. You can't turn another hit like that. I'm gonna try and stall him, and I scream into the whirlwind. Others will come after me, and after you. Who do you think cares enough for you to risk their lives for vengeance? Since I actually kind of know this, I'll go ahead and say Ashley. Ashley will. Perhaps Wakefield will only squirm less before dying. He closes his clawed hand into a fist. You crouch, ready for the attack. He's powerful but arrogant. If you could just hold it for another few seconds, you'll find some angle, some way to beat him, as long as you can keep it together. Then claws of light and power strike you, and you shatter. Your mind comes to pieces, and pieces tumble, sharp spinning. Seconds become unmoored from seconds. Shards catch and reflect images of a once familiar life, your past spinning out of reach. You have to fight back. You have to stop him, defend yourself. So hard to think. What does thinking mean, anyway, outside of time? You scramble amid the shattered, jagged facets of yourself. They cut your fingers, blood flows into memory. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of context. So basically, I, who nameless currently, work at the world in which this takes is very much magical. So alright, so this is a brief guide. So charm, obvious. I have stats. So charm is fairly obviously my ability to persuade. And personal style, savoir-faire, empathy, social acumen, etc., etc. Craft is this world's version of magic. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's sort of like a freeform magic that you kind of, or if you ever played D&D and you know how a sorcerer, they're kind of like imbued with magic and they can use it like that. That's kind of how the craft works. You kind of, it comes from within you and you can do things with it. So used for magical battles and a range of professional tasks. Cunning, obvious. My intelligence, my wit, my determination, obvious. Pretty, everything everything your hypothetical football coach wanted you to bring onto the field. Alright, socialite versus gunner. So it's kind of works on a scale of gunner, which is kind of less of a people person, more of a introvert, and socialite is more of an extrovert. Sleep, kind of a given. Less sleep, harder things are. Soul and debt. So that's how things. Soul is basically the currency, kind of, and then debt is the amount, because basically I am a lawyer working at a firm in the magical world known as, I'll remember it in a second, and it's kind of my adventures and various shenanigans there. Alright, so let's actually get back to the story. You must remember, you must fight. You are, who are you anyway? There must be an answer here amid the slivers of glass confetti. Slivers and glass confetti among the kaleidoscope shapes. If only you could grasp it. You don't even have hands with which to grasp, or a body for that matter. No, you have one. You remember. You are a man. Your name, if you could remember. If you could just remember, names tie lives together, knit memories to memories, and your name is. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put in something actual. That's only part of it. Charles. I went with Cavendish last time, but you know what? Can I go ahead and go with so this is a crude butchering of my last name. Kind of funny because I had a friend that used to pronounce it like this, Geofrig. It's actually really fun. He's a funny guy, and he would intentionally pronounce it like that just to screw with me. So I'll go ahead and, in memory of Greg, Charles Geofrig. So how did you get here, Charles? So many alternate paths, so many options, dream shards, timepieces. Childhood. The first stirrings of power. You caught a falling star in a dead field and held it burning in your hands. Smelled the sweet iron of space and the world's heat. His fiery fingers crawled over your skin and into your flesh. So I get to choose what I do with the star. So last time I went with closed my hands around it. Go ahead and eat it, for lack of it. You pressed the star past your lips, tasting lightning on your tongue, and swallowed. Liquid metal searing your esophagus, and you fell back onto the dead grass, screaming. Galaxies wheeled above you, moonlight unbearably sharp. You closed your eyes, but that only replaced the punishing stars with another vision. This is the world beneath the world, a vast net of souls in exchange, a pulsating network of life and story and bargain and consequence. You see the terms of the great deal, the arguments and conditions upon which your words depend. You could join that bargain, shape it, but first you have to grow up. And growing up presented its own challenge. I'm going to go with poor, so make things a bit more interesting. I was a scraping farmer's child on the edge of the desert. My people survivors of the God Wars, which I frankly have no idea what that is. You have to piece things together. So, but city lights always beckoned beyond the horizon, and your infant stirring of power grew. You set your sights upon the hidden schools where professors who have slain gods in a single combat teach their dark craft to the next generation. I developed in those conditions from child to man. Here, a cutting, tumbling shape sharp of lips and skin. A first kiss. A girl I knew. A bright afternoon, a brief rest, a pressure of lips and hands and bodies. Neither one of you was very good at kissing, or anything else you tried, but it was a start, and it was sweet. You wonder what became of her. You'll never know. More flashes from your years at the hidden schools where you studied the dark arts men call craft. A century ago, you would have been burned at the stake for learning these skills: how to raise the dead from their graves, how to hold the powers of gods in your own hands. Then the God Wars happened, and humans won. The hidden schools rose in defiance of divine authority, and life became a lot better for people who chose to twist natural law into their own whims. People like you. You see, you remember. I'm gonna continue with what I did. Hours of studying, sweating, bent at my desk because studious intelligence. Cunning. I like cunning. So many voices. So many exams, demonic voices in dark rooms, pentagram after pentagram, drawn by acid on stone, inscribed with forgotten runes. You summoned demons, you banished them again. You raised men from the dead and made them walk, made them fight, made them sing. You walked a lonely road and gained strange powers there. The hidden schools were realms of darkness and study, but no one ever accused the students there of monastic discipline. What pleasures did you indulge in? What loves? What faces? What bodies? What reflecting in the falling shards of what used to be yourself? I'm gonna say there's no. Yeah, I'll go with that one. For realism. They were strong, they were brittle, they were brilliant, they were short-sighted, they were beautiful, and they were uninformed. In short, they were young, and so were you. But the process was fun for all involved, and then you graduated and went to work. And I'm just going to go on for the next chapter, because that's just kind of the intro. I feel like it'd be a shame just to give you that much, and just stop there. So, Creek Tower rests like a black needle over the sprawling Shikaw skyline. To the east stretches the Great Water, slate gray, broken by white chalk-lined waves. Below and off to the west, broad gridded street maps. Their streets map the earth between buildings the size of city blocks, and beyond these lie older red brick neighborhoods that are never quite recovered from the God Wars. Farkath Nebuchadnezzar's Stone, which is the thing that I was mentioning, the firm, occupies the top 20 floors of Creek Tower, your new office, your first ever office. It is a cubby on floor 35, towards the lower end of the VNS territory. It's empty, but for you and the few possessions you're moving in, a single box piled high with craftwork books, and on top of them a few teetering personal effects, including a daggery type of your graduation. You look so proud. You set the box down and sag into your chair. You hear the subtle shift in the box and turn to see the picture fall. Can I go and grab it? You sweep your hand out to grab the picture before it hits the ground, but you've misjudged your own strength. Your thumb breaks the glass and you feel a sudden stab of pain. Go be a man. No big deal, right? Thumb wounds. You wrap your thumb in tissue paper to stem the bleeding, which should help. You hear a knock on the door, and a second later open to admit Cassowary Chen, another first-year associate at Verkaf VNS. Because I don't want to say that, because that's a lot. She started a week ago, same as you, and both of you for the last 7 days have been a solid wall of training. She's borne it well, better than you have. Like you, Cass wears a dark gray suit. She's intense, 5'5" or so, dark hair, expressive features, given to sharp, broad gestures with her hands while talking. She glances at your thumb with concern. Are you okay, Charles? Can go with, oh, it's nothing. She looks skeptical. Nothing, huh? Well, anyways, Pat and I thought we might meet for dinner before this casino night orientation. Pre-game a little. You want to come? I'll go ahead and shrug it off, because I kind of went with her last time, and I want to keep it different. You're still living out of boxes, and it would be nice to stop that one of these days. You have barely enough time to get home. unpack a little and return. Lucky for you that it's still the first week of training. In a month, once the work picks up, doubt you'll ever see a sunset that's not filtered through glass. Too much dead men to be raised, gods to be wrestled, laws of reality to be violated. You know, the usual life of a craftsman. Home waits, though, for now. Where is home, anyway? Rent's higher close to the office, but the closer you are, the shorter the commute. The shorter the commute means more sleep, which makes everything in life easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and go cheap. Because I started poor, you know. Figure, you have the transfer trolleys twice, traveling north to reach your place. A 2-room flat with debatable heat on the top floor of a warehouse turned bar. Fights sometimes break out late at night in the street. When you gave HR your address, the guy filling out the form shot you a very skeptical look. But what can you do? You have student loans, and you want to be out from under them as soon as possible. The door sticks when you try and open it, but a good kick or 4 gives it. Think of it as an extra security feature. You stagger inside, close the door, and lock the 3 locks. Speaking of rent and commutes and similar topics, what kind of life are you living exactly? By which I mean, when you left the hidden schools to embark on this path of high thaumaturgy, you were carrying about 200,000 thaums in debt. Currently, your soul is only worth about 1,750. Your salary is 160,000 thaums. Let's say 100,000 after all your various fees and obligations to the city of Shikar are handled. Debt obviously is debt. The hidden schools lay claim to your soul and all its future products. As long as you carry this debt, you'll never be free. Mad necromancers can and will hunt you to the ends of the earth. So, that said, how much of your salary, after you take care of rent and living expenses, go towards debt? How much of it is yours to spend? I'm going to go with that. I want the daggone. Your apartment is a mess of boxes piles by the door in a hall in the center of the room. You have a bed and pillows, but that's the limit. Everything else is cardboard and packing tape. Glance ruefully at your watch, set down your briefcase, and start unpacking. At this rate, you might have time to do something other than unpack and go to the firm functions sometime around 2 months from now, though that's an optimistic estimate. You manifest a knife out of your own soul stuff and start tearing open boxes. You'd have used something more prosaic, but your knives and scissors are, of course, bound. Damn it. You haven't looked at your watch in a while when you hear a knock on the door. Answering it, chain in place, of course, you discover, to your surprise, Ashley Wakefield, the woman that was mentioned in the prologue. You haven't seen Wakefield since graduation. You sort of hoped never to see her again. Ash Wakefield, of the Southern Wakefields, the scion of a high family, and everyone in hidden schools knew it. Affluent, blonde, brilliant, and sculpted out of marble, metaphorically, although you never got close enough to check. Kelfritz, Albrecht, and A.O. I have no idea. That was weird. One of the world's most prestigious craft firms hired Wakefield straight out of the hidden schools as an associate in their Chicago office, and she made certain everyone knew. Perhaps she was just excited. That'd be a charitable way to look at it. Gil Frigg, she says. It's been quite a while since we're both going to this party. I decided I might as well visit another lonely and bereft graduate in this dismal city. Ashley glances up and down the street. Not far away, you hear some kind of shattering glass. Would you please let me in before some local unfortunate decides to slit my throat? It doesn't seem right to keep Wakefield waiting outside, so you undo the lock on the door, step aside, and let her in. She conveys around the piles of boxes without betraying the slightest hint of disdain. Wakefield conveys disdain quite well enough without having to betray it. Yeah, I'm busy. I have 2 months of unpacking. We're all busy these days, and trust me, you haven't seen half of it. Wakefield turns on her heel to face you and spreads her arms wide. I came to invite you to dinner. I have been forced to attend this particular brand of interfirm madness, and drinks and a vague excuse for intelligent conversation might provide an appropriate stimulant for the early evening. I'm going to go and go with it. Lovely. Shall we? Wakefield's choice in restaurants is as rarefied as the rest of her. an Iscari thermato. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. My tongue's just gastro place where they present very small servings of things man was not meant to eat on very large and artfully shaped plates. You feel overdressed and underdressed at once. People have walked beyond the edge of the world, in a vacuum beyond the atmosphere's envelope, and they need special clothes to keep alive, to keep from exploding in space. Your suit feels like that. What is making that sound? What is making that sound? Derfurk. Oh, okay. Chrome being a weirdo. Anyway, back to Lovely, shall we? Wakefield's choice. Oh, that's right. I already read that. Your suit feels like that. Like it's all that allows you to live here, and everyone else seems to know it too, even Ash, though she doesn't say anything. You both order. Ash gets a pre-fee built around meats that have somehow been transformed into vegetables. You order the chef's choice after deciding that your own instincts won't serve you well in this place. Ash keeps the conversation light, cutting and erudite. This disingenuous philosophy, fashion criticisms, and vicious parodies of professors she hated back at school. Finally, after her steak salad arrives, leaves rare and bloody, and your soup noodles, some slight membrane containing the still liquid soup, she asks you the question that she thinks she's been working to all night. So, Geofrig, tell me, what do you hope to accomplish at Varkath Nebuchadnezzar Stone? That one. I'm gonna go deep. Give back to the world. In the small, quiet restaurant, her laughter sparks like shards of glass falling through a sunbeam. Glass falling beyond the edge of reason, turning in the mind. You shake your head, banishing the edge of uneasy memory. Ash is still talking. Could you have anything you want, and here you are, babbling about giving something back to a world you don't owe anything. You've earned your place here. And do you even think you'd be happy outside of private practice? Away from all this? Away from the pleasure of your company, you mean? I smirk. Look, you say. What's your problem? Would any answer satisfy you here? I don't know, she says. You think honestly. I'm always interested in watching how others resolve their problems. It's like spying on ants with a magnifying glass. But when, or if, you do come around to a sensible way of looking at the world, we might be able to find a place for you at that thing. KAA? I'll go ahead and say KAA to take it easy on my tongue. Yeah, I get to insult her. I'll go with that one. Well, perhaps, and she calls for the check. Shall we go see what sort of games these mortals play? What a relief to reach the taxi. You pretend to be very interested in the view to avoid the risk of further conversation on the road. Sorry, I was checking my percent with her for various reasons. Varkath Nebuchadnezzar, VKS, aka, and a few other firms have rented out a swanky waterfront restaurant. A chandelier dangles from thin gold chains over a room swarming with craftsmen and craftswomen clad in pinstripes and slick silk. Cocktail glasses clink, dice thud and roll over green felt tables. Everywhere you hear the flushed bird sound of shuffling cards. Outside and overhead, a few stars have survived the onslaught of the city's lights. They glitter over the black waters of the lake. Wakefield slaps you on the shoulder and says, "Well, Geofrig, that was an excellent dinner. Now, if you will excuse me, I'm off to lose myself in a game or two of chance. Feel free to catch up if you so desire." You wander the floor for a moment to take everything in and score a drink from the bar. When you turn back, you take inventory of the room. The ever-practical Pat Gabe is playing blackjack, the best odds of the floor given perfect play. Cass Chen flits from conversation to conversation. She's on her second cocktail of the night, not counting her dinner drinks. This may not end well for her. You turn at last to the poker tables. Wakefield's already dealt in, and seated next to you. Oh, gods. The skeleton in green, with the hands of cold iron and the glyphs burning in the plates of his bared skull, and the mask of cured leather. That's Golan Varkov. He, as in the named partner of Golan Varkov, of Varkov Nebuchadnezzar Stone. You've seen his portrait, but you've never seen him in person. Oh, by the way, I should mention there are people that are literally skeletons. So, it's not. Yeah, you get it. It's poker table. Because yeah, fair enough. You get the idea. Because Wakefield, who I did kind of allude to in the prologue that I was gonna try and get in good with her, and it's always good to get in with the partners. You join Varkath, Wakefield, and a few other monsters at the table. The goddess of the game hovers where the felt, shifting and glorious, calling each player in turn to his or her destruction. No sense in waiting. You sit down. Wakefield looks up from her cards. Decided to button up your trousers and play in the big leagues. Gonna go ahead and do some witty banter. Shame you can't play as good as game as you talk. Varkath says nothing, neither does anyone else. The big blind is a craftswoman who's replaced her skin with scales, and the little blind's Varkov. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go for Wakefield. The game continues. You watch the opening plays, playing slow and tight, and watching Wakefield until you think you have her figured out. You chase a few hands that don't make sense, and then she gets the point. So the next time Wakefield pulls a good hand, you make the same outsized raise you've been made three times previous when chasing a flush, even though you have the three of a kind. You and Wakefield raise one another back around the board. Others drop out. The goddess of the game swells, proud and hungry, over the table. Your soul joins with Wakefield's inside the goddess. You live outside yourself. And when the time comes, Wakefield calls. You flip your cards over and show three of a kind. Wakefield flips her cards and shows a straight. Better luck next time, chum, she says as your soul flows out into her. Light and life leave the world, and the music from the swinging band on stage is nothing more than a vibration in the air governed by mathematical formula and physics law. That night's the big play for you. You're not dead, nor are you far reduced to qualify for zombiehood, but you feel low and bruised. When the game breaks up and the goddess dissolves back into the players from whose souls she was formed, you're only too happy to push yourself away from the game and stagger off towards the bar. Before you travel far, though, you hear a voice behind you, harsh and melodic in weird directions, like a house key scraped over violin strings. Mr. Geofreak, a pleasure to play with you. You turn and see Varkov. You skeleton dude. Sir. His mask is painted to resemble a young man's face, perhaps his from a long-vanished youth. You think the mask is made of cowhide. You hope it's made of cowhide. Next time, try to achieve what you set out to do. No, getting in good with Varkov too. Always a good thing. Perhaps. He shrugs and turns away. I feel exhausted. I'm checking my stuff quickly. Sorry. Perhaps. He shrugs and turns away. I feel exhausted. Long day, long night, and more long days to come. Many more of them, if this life works out the way I've planned. Chen and Pat are talking at the edge of the dance floor. They look like they're ready to go. Meanwhile, the dance itself is heating up, and you see some people there wouldn't mind heating up as well. Sorry, rain. There's always the bar, not to mention your bed, although that seems so far away now. I'll go ahead and socialize. They're reluctant at first, but by the time you find a bar, they're both warmed up to the idea. Pat, at least, is flushed with soul stuff off a successful evening, and you dance and toast and drink and have a grand old time, free from the watchful eyes of partners. the night blurs together in drunken memory, but it was worth it. Though you won't think so come tomorrow morning. And when you finally reach your own bed, you fall into it and keep falling, tumbling like a shard of glass through the darkness. Okay, guys, that's episode 1. Hopefully. I'd imagine. Alright, so if you liked it, feel free to, do the things that let me know that you want to see more of it, aka like, subscribe, comment, etc., etc., etc. I think that's about it. Nothing I really need to say, so I will see you next time. Have a great day and or evening, depending on what time it is when you're watching this. And, yeah, adios.